low value, but not at a substantial discount. This is not that great, less than 40%. So when we look at the price based on past earnings, we can see that the e.l.f. Beauty is good value based on earnings compared to the U.S. personal products industry average. We can look at the PE 20. It shows 24.1 times the industry we're looking at, the market. But when we look at the price based on expected growth, we can see the PEG is 1.5 times, and e.l.f. Beauty is poor value based on expected growth next year. Price based on assets at a price based 1.7 times, and we see the e.l.f. Beauty is good value based on assets compared to the U.S. personal products industry average. We look at the future. What does the future of e.l.f. Beauty have to say about this company? How is e.l.f. Beauty expected to perform in the next 1 to 3 years based on estimates from 6 analysts? We see that the expected annual growth rate is 15.7% annual growth in earnings. We look at the estimated growth in earnings. We see that e.l.f. Beauty is not as great as the personal products, but it's better than probably like something low risk. We see the earnings looking good, but the revenue growth, I don't know about that. It doesn't seem like it's doing too good. We look at the annual growth comparison. We can see that the actual is better than the estimated, and we can see the earnings is doing decent. We look at the past and the future earnings per share. We look at the we can see that the expected earning, the past and the future earnings, in the future it's not expected to increase by much. We look at performance in 3 years. The 9.4% return on equity. e.l.f. Beauty is not expected to efficiently use shareholders' funds in the future. Return on equity less than 20%. When you look at the past, we can see the past earnings growth over here. We can see that the e.l.f. during the 1 year is looking really poor. e.l.f. Beauty has delivered over 20% year-on-year earnings growth in the past 5 years. That's good. e.l.f. Beauty's 1 year earnings growth is negative. It can't be compared to the 5-year average. That's not good. e.l.f. Beauty's 1 year earnings growth is negative. It can't be compared to the U.S. personal products industry average. So we could see the revenue over here and the earnings and revenue looking decent. We look at the performance last year, 6.77% return on equity. We look at